Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Kaga. I know it's been a little while since we had a video for you all, but I think we'll get into a very nice match using the Minekaze. That is the Tier 5 Japanese destroyer. Now I know this ship more than any other has a reputation for being overpowered, and to be fair, during CBT, the closed beta test for World of Warships, it really was overpowered. But since then, it has been adjusted and it no longer gets its epic torpedo range, and now just has one set of torpedoes. So let's look at how we can use this, because realistically that really did change how you play your Minekaze. And one of the things you're going to have to get more familiar with is how to make use of every single weapon on your ship, because you're no longer that long-range assassin ninja that the Minekaze once was. So we'll find ourselves on this standard battle on Big Race, and I think we'll go over how to win your knife fights and using interesting tactics in doing this. So you're going to notice right off the bat, one of the more essential skills that you'll have on any destroyer is the situational awareness skill. That is, I guess it's a perk. But what you really want this for is it doesn't matter whether it's planes or ships, it'll tell you when you're spotted, because you have such low health. Any little edge you can get, any little help that you can get from the system is very important. And right now, I'm going to make use of that with the fact that I've been detected by multiple enemies. I've adjusted course, and we've evaded both all of the shells fired from the enemy destroyer, and I'm funneling those torpedo bombers in a particular direction in hopes that the island will eat some of the torpedoes they drop. And now, as you're going to see, there are 6 planes and only 4 torpedoes. Mission accomplished. And yes, I did just intentionally beach myself to accomplish this end, but because this is the destroyer, you can back up fairly quickly, no harm done. So we're still being detected, so I'm going to try to get a good grasp of the situation before I begin turning out, and I determine that it's better to go to port side and try to bring torpedoes onto target against some of the destroyers coming down the way here. No one comes around the corner. Okay, we'll try the other way. And now we're going to poke this area here. Now granted, this is one of those high risk, high reward maneuvers that you sometimes have to pull off in your Japanese destroyers to get these hits out. And as you're going to see, the moment I drop those torpedoes, I turn around and throw smoke and try to get out of dodge. And I keep getting detected. I'm on fire. Oh. Curse that other destroyer down there. And that's because he keeps spotting me even though I'm technically in smoke because I keep moving too fast. And now it doesn't matter which side of the island I'm going on, I've got destroyer problems. But there's an enemy battleship in this little area, so I'm in the mood to punish him. And as you can see, making use of the terrain there as best as possible, I stagger it out just in case he decides to change his course a little bit. And with the knowledge of how our torpedoes travel, we're able to sneak in that last little bit or the last clutch of torpedoes out there, but looks like he slowed down instead of turned, so we only got 1 hit out of that cluster. Now, DD battleship, DD battleship. Okay, that battleship is a more imminent threat to my allies, so I'm going to keep trying to clobber him the best I can. The torpedo alarms are going off, and glad I listened to it, because otherwise I would have had friendly torpedo fire. Looks like from a cruiser, so it probably would have sunk me right off the bat. And now we're going to just not look at that battleship as we sink the torpedoes. We're going to now swing around here, because there's smoke here. We really should be trying to determine what's on the other side of it for our allied cruisers in the area. There's torpedoes. That looks like an Minekaze clutch. Oh, I just stirred up a hornet's nest. Shit, shit, shit. Okay, let's put in a good, well-aimed gun salvo. Start throwing torpedoes left, right, and center whenever we get the shot. Don't keep a predictable course because most people do not know how to aim, pre-aim for a turning target against for their torpedoes. So, as you can see, we were able to pull off that maneuver and sink one of the enemy destroyers in the process. I fired that last little salvo hoping that I could get some plunging fire over that little bit of the headland there, fire a round of AP and that other destroyer, just again in hopes it will penetrate, switch back to HE to deal with this guy, and contemplate the torpedo salvo, but there's just not enough time to get in a good salvo, so it just wastes the torpedo armaments there. Now you're about to see me make a mistake. I should have actually turned into this one more, but I'm going to take one right there on the hip there. It's not really going to matter because he's not able to follow up on that attack, but we're going to punish him anyway using the guns because, again, the torpedoes, I would have to aim straight through the island to hit him, and torpedoes do not dig their way through islands in World of Warships. I don't think they do that in reality either, so we're not even going to try to test that right now. So the other destroyer has backed off, and another one has taken his place. I fire a tight one where he's was headed. It looks like I misjudged on both of them. He ran aground, probably a smart move on his behalf. Fired a number of torpedoes off in broad spreads just as a precaution. If he evaded the first one, they all missed. Again, we're now going to get into a gunnery duel. But I know that my torpedoes will rearm fairly shortly. It knocks out my engine. I put that back up instantly. Put in a well-aimed shot into his midships. Knock out his propulsion. Drop a spread of torpedoes. And I'm going to make use of the little bit of a shoal there, the edge of the land there, to actually change my momentum of my ship and swing it out enough that the torpedo will miss. That's right, you can do that. I don't think it works as well as it would in reality, but it works. And no, it is not bullshit. It is physics. Get over it. So now we've picked up our third enemy vessel. Alright, let's go see what we can do more. Alright, so right now in front of us, there's that enemy battleship we could go kill. There's that enemy carrier down there. And there's an enemy destroyer in front of us. Now, that battleship could do us some serious damage if we're not careful, and this destroyer is low enough on health that I can feel like I can challenge him without much of a risk. So I'm going to do that, and we just saw his torpedoes drop in the water, so I'm turning to avoid them. I am not waiting till I see them. That is bad news in a destroyer. As you can see, he was not able to make those connect, and now his last bit gamut has failed because it looks like he doesn't really know how to use his guns. He puts in another final spread of torpedoes hoping I'd continue on a straight line, and they don't connect. I'm making use of his smoke screen that he dropped trying to avoid me in closing the distance with the enemy carrier. Put in a single well-aimed high explosive shot to knock out that guy's engine. Try even if he was to repair it, and it looks like he will. I'm going to change his ability to outpace me, and seeing the torpedo bombers come in, I throw on the speed boost to try to throw off their drop. And now, turning out, I'm trying to bait his torpedo bombers to make their drop wide, in addition to get those torpedoes off, as it looks like we were successful. Not half bad there in terms of a manual drop, but just wasn't expecting that come in. He managed to turn wisely in avoiding all of the half of the torpedoes that were fired in there. But because he repaired his engine, he is not going to be able to repair the flooding. I see that. And right now, I'm not going to waste the shells, and he goes down. And that's kill number 5. So now there's just one enemy battleship left. He's quite a distance away. My speed boost is over halfway done, so I'm at this point resigned to the fact that I'm probably not going to get up there. But 5 kills is nothing to shake a stick at. And certainly I've been quite content with the pretty much sustained knife fighting I've had to do in this match to this point to stay alive. But that's not really what this game's about right now. We're going to try to get some last shots in there to pick up some extra damage because why not? This is all about increasing my experience and credits earned for this battle. So let's go for it. I see the Wyoming's at half health, but our carrier reduces him to a quarter. Now, granted, my fire control system says he's in range, but my experience is telling me that I do not actually have a shot because by the time the shells would have gotten to him, he would have sailed just beyond their effective firing arc, so I hold fire till a little bit later, and I'm able to connect those shots. I don't see him right now, but I loft the shot over the headland and almost connect with it, but at the end of the match right there. So for an astounding 26 shell penetrations and 7 torpedo hits, 5 sinkings, and 7 floods, we get a fair amount of XP and credits out of that match. That was a lot of free XP, I will admit that. 701, that's nothing to shake a stick at. Now, it's no surprise that we finished at the top of the team list with our 5 kills and all that and a wonderful jazz. So I hope this illustrates that if with the Japanese destroyers in particular, that you can force them into doing things that most people may not anticipate with them, and it can change the ability of these vessels to affect the outcome of battle, certainly both in those knife fights that you saw and in other respects. I can't really say what the possibilities are because they're really up to what your imagination and experience will let you get away with. So part of our damage in this was just from the HE shell damage, and you'll be surprised that was about 12,000 damage out of that, all said and done. It almost rivaled our flooding damage in about 14,000. And, about 40,000 torpedo damage. That's on a good day. That's a good day's work for the Minekaze. So I hope this was a bit of an educational video for you, or perhaps it got you on the edge of your seat because of some of that knife fighting that you saw. Certainly, those were some pretty tense moments when I was playing, even though I had a fair sense that I was going to come out on top. Just sometimes you never know. If you have any questions about anything you saw in the video, or perhaps a particular aspect of Destroyer gameplay that you'd like to know a little more about, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to help you out. So this is going to be a World of Warships week. I'm pretty certain about that at this moment. Expect a little bit more goodness in that respect. If this video or other content on this channel interests you, please consider subscribing. I hope to see you around the channel in the future. So it's now once again that time. I think we're at the end of the video. Thank you for having stuck with me for just short of 15 minutes. So thank you and good day.